Good afternoon, YouTube viewers. Welcome back to Partickhill Station. I'm Charlie. Today's another special day of trains running through Partickhill. We have the A4 Walter K. Wigham pulling a rake of beautiful Hornby Pullman coaches. And on the other line, we have the BR Hornby Princess Elizabeth with a rake of a variety of Triang and Hornby Mark 1 coaches and an ex-LNER coach. So I hope you find this interesting and a different, another variety of rolling stock that I have here at the station. I hope everyone's well out there and you're enjoying the good weather over in the UK. And for those that are resident here in North America, I hope you've dodged the bullet with the storms down south. If you're down in Florida or any of these southern states, and here in Ontario, it's cooled off today after a few days of intense heat, and that brings a bit of relief. So also in the foreground here, in there you see I have another Car DMU, and in this particular case I'll just bring it along. Well, it looks as if uh, my camera has gone in and out again, but that is the Strathclyde Lima Car DMU that I got from uh, our friends at, at Ellis Trains. Sorry, it's at Ellis Clark Trains. Um, as I said last time, they remarked that it was a bit noisy and a couple of small marks. Well, it seems to be running just fine. Makes a little bit of noise. I'll take the body off and have a look, and hopefully get it uh, cleaned up if necessary. I'm just having to do a little bit of maintenance here on the camera as usual, par for the course. Well, as you can see, uh, there in the station doesn't seem to be much movement. That's because, for whatever reason, once again uh, the camera has stopped working. just have to wait to see if it comes up. So these two locomotives and coaches are operating just fine. Never seem to have any problems with with these two. I'm not sure what type of cog they have in the motor. As you recall, in some of these locos, that little nylon cog wouldn't work. It would slip, it'd become warm, and it just wasn't. It was very frustrating because I couldn't get them running properly. And then I purchased some brass cogs to replace them with, but that proved to be a bit of a chore, and I haven't as yet solved that issue of replacing them. On one of them, I managed to get the cog or spur, as some refer to it as, onto the shaft, but I can't get it completely on so that it properly engages with the large plastic cogs. Well, I see my camera's back up again, but it doesn't seem to be live. So what I'm going to do is, once again, I'm just going to use my cell phone and see what we can show on the cell phone. So just bear with me for a couple of minutes. We'll get this working. Okay, so we're in. All right, I'm hoping we're not getting any echoes here as we move around. Now, I've got this little unit here that allows me to hook up additional equipment like my microphone and cameras. And this hub here allows me to add some USBs into the laptop, because on this laptop, it's only a couple of years old. There's limited inlets, receptacles for these USBs. There's only 2 ports there, and it's just not good enough. What I understand is with more recent model of the MacBook Pro, they've added back in some USB ports, which is a good thing. So once again, from Ellis Clark, here is my Strathclyde Transport DMU. A beautiful piece, and it runs great. And it was a very good deal from Ellis Clark. We'll just catch the Princess coming in here. 46201. And we'll watch the A4 Walter K. Wigham coming out here with the Pullman coaches. Just going to put that down there and let it run. I think I'm getting a little bit of an echo. I need to try and deal with that. Hopefully that will do it. As usual. There you go. It's always a challenge. Anyway, last time when I was on, I was talking about the station in Glasgow. Well, in fact, there were three main stations. That was Buchanan Street, Queen Street, actually four stations, so correct myself. So Buchanan Street, Queen Street, Glasgow Central, and St Enoch's. Now, St Enoch's was a massive station adjacent to, as most of the big stations were adjacent to the subway station. And it was one of these grand hotels that took the frontage of the railway station. And LMS ran out of there, and Glasgow and South Western Railways down the west coast. Now, Glasgow Central also ran down into England with LMS, and also down to the west coast of Scotland. Queen Street would run north and west to the likes of Oban, Inverness, not Inverness, but Fort William, and also out towards Dundee. And Buchanan Street would operate also part of the west coast and also up to Perth, Aberdeen, and Inverness. So by the time Beecham came around, we ended up losing Buchanan Street and St Enoch's. So I think it was 1966, St Enoch's closed. It was turned into a parking lot and a shopping mall. My last recollection of being at St Enoch's was a friend of mine. He and his family moved to New Zealand. In order to get there, they had to take the train to Southampton. Now, I don't recall if that train went directly to Southampton, but my recollection was, it was probably 12 or 13 uh, coaches in the rake. And that was the last time I saw my friend for many, many years. And, that train went out of St. Enos. Or that was my recollection, and it's so long ago. Um, it might have been Glasgow Central. I'll have to see if I've got any notes to verify that. But as I said, it was either Glasgow Central or St. Enos. And, I think it was around about 64 or 63 when they left on that long journey. Anyway, so there are two stations remaining in Glasgow. Queen Street, which is up by George Square, and um, Glasgow Central, and both very busy places. So I'm going to try and pull up some photographs um, to see if there's any, uh, so that I can show you the different stations that were around Glasgow. Um, I'll just need to see how I can do this. I can present slides. Uh, just have to be patient with me as I find these photographs. Okay, so I think I've been able to get these, just get out of here, back in again, see if I can find them. Okay, so Well, at least everything seems to be working except trying to get these photographs up. We'll give it another shot and see if we can get it. Okay, I'm not having much luck with the photographs, so I'll probably have to do it as an extra. Um, but it's just nice to sit and watch the trains go by um, without having somebody blabbering on about it over the top of it. So I'm sure for you it's enjoyable watching this. I'm not sure if it takes some time to load up photographs that you want to add in via the present button, but they don't seem to be active. Well, as I said, I'm not having much luck with that, but that's okay. Um, I've had these uh, Pullman coaches for a number of years also, and they are rarely out the box like many of my other coaches and locomotives. But that's a nice thing about having a reasonable collection, and that is I can select uh, various sets to run at different times so that I can bring something different uh, to you, the viewers. And, you know, talking about viewers, a lot of this time uh, I posted, when I posted live, you know, as I said, I had maybe 6 people on the chat line. But by the time it came around uh, to after the presentation, I went onto YouTube and there was around 30 people had viewed the live broadcast. So I'm not really sure how that all works. It seems to be a bit of a black box. And what it also tells me is that uh, people don't acknowledge what you're doing. It would be nice if they'd all just give a thumbs up if they thought it was appropriate while they were watching. And that way I get a better idea of how many people are actually tuning in and how many people actually enjoyed the presentation. So once again, uh, the brio seems to have dropped off, and not really sure why that happens. That too is a bit of a mystery. Excuse me. Well, as it is, that Cam 3 isn't a bad view from the other side of the station. Uh, but that's the Cam 1 is the Brio, which is supposed to be the better of the cameras that I have, and but it doesn't really explain why it's not working or why it continues to drop off. So uh, we'll just have a little look here. So this is my shuttle board. I have to hook up these wires and it will be powered by this little unit here. Now the one thing is I've got just come around here, fine. Yeah, so if you see there at S1, uh, S1 will go into S1 there, but it will also connect up with S2, and then that will go to SD. And I think what I need to do is, and I'm sure Tom will put me straight on this, but I'd probably have to uh, make a three-way connection there so that I can get S1 along to SD and also connect it into S2. And once I've done that, uh, it should work, hopefully, and we'll give it a test. So I just changed a couple of things around here. I moved the station master's house over here, and that's the Anderson shelter uh, that I made from the handmade corrugated sheeting. And of course, that's the Airfix Spitfire. Actually, as you can see, it's seen better times, but it makes for a great prop. And there's the difference between a very clean, brand new blue circle cement tank and much weathered tank. I did that with the micron pens. This area has to be developed further. And there's that scratch build maintenance shed that I made a few weeks ago. And this Glasgow Corporation Plus is probably from the 1940s, early 1950s. There's a VOAC bus. I think that used to run from Glasgow Central, thereabouts, down to Prestwick for the North American flights. I just seem to have had a drop in power there. Yeah, there you go. And that's another thing I have to manage is my wiring. It's a bit of a mess. I have a friend who is another friend who's an electrical engineer, and he told me his dad had a layout and he liked setting up the wiring, so he said he would like to come over and have a look around and maybe provide some suggestions. That would be warmly received, just as it was with Tom. So a shout out to Richard at Triple Valve 62, the depot. Lucky guy, just got 2 new locomotives for his birthday, which is coming up on Sunday. So make sure you go in there and have a look at his unboxing of his birthday gifts, and wish him a happy birthday for Sunday. Anyway, that's a photograph, I hope you can see it, of St. Enoch Station. back in the 60s. And this one is of Buchanan Street. See some train spotters there. And that looks like an A4 pulling a rake Mark 1 coaches. Now that is Central Station. Tracks 1 is the London Euston Express, and 2 and 3 are also high-speed services. And there's another A4 with some train spotters leaving, and that's the Golden Plover leaving Queen Street Station, heading into the tunnel. And you can see the retaining walls there, and that's what I tried to replicate. Not perfect, but pretty close. And there's the old St. Enoch's. With the massive hotel in front. And it would go down here and head south. I might be forgiven if I said to you that that looks more like Glasgow Central, but this area here is elevated, and down in this corner would be the subway, so I'm sure that is St. Enoch's. And that's another view of the Queen Street Station, heading out into the tunnel there. And I hope you could see that. Hopefully it made a bit more sense to what I was trying to explain in the previous recorded video that I posted. Now I've set this little jig up here, and I'm going to try and use this to get those brass spurs or cogs onto the motors. And that's a task yet to be addressed. There's one there, there's the brass cog. Hopefully you can see that. This is the Class 47, and that's the fly screw type ring flow motor. They're very, very good motors. Um, and that one is no problem. Just got some wiring to fix on it. But that's typical the ring flow motors is that those nylon spurs or cogs wear out and it will spin and spin and spin and you'll get nowhere. And that's when you should replace it. Now, having said that, I purchased the brass um, cogs. In retrospect, I was thinking maybe I should have purchased nylon ones. They might have been a bit easier to get on because it is proving a bit of a task. Variety of stuff up there. Most in a state of disrepair. But this is the North American local, which runs really well, as do these two. But the rest are extra bodies, and this little 040 just doesn't work very well at all, I think. Um, Something bent in there. Those are those static motors that I have. They look great in a display case, or you could place them strategically around your layout, and would look pretty good, even if you weathered it up. In fact, they would be great to practice on uh, for somebody that doesn't have confidence in weathering. And these things aren't expensive. So if you could find some of those and work on them. Oh, a little bit of an issue here. Oh, I need to stop everything for a minute. That's what happens when you get distracted. Uh, Starts off, something comes off the rail at, well, let's just put this down first. While I do that, get things back on track, as to say. Yeah, some of these early triang coaches are particularly light, and they require a bit of attention, maybe with a little bit extra weight, and also maybe having some of the wheels replaced. And what happens is generally a domino effect. I also noted that some of these locals uh, have rubber wheels, and I think one or two might require replacing. And that's another task which I have to get around to. Now, I haven't seen anything from Alan in the loft. Of course, he's not in the loft these days. He's actually touring around England. And I know he was in York recently, and that looked like a great visit there. Um, I've had the good fortune to have visited York uh, about 4 years ago. And it was a great pleasure to see those locomotives and coaches. I'm just going to stop at uh, Walter K. Wigham, and I'm going to bring out the Strathclyde Transport Car DMU and just give it a run. As you can see, it runs very smoothly, and it's a great addition uh, to my shed, as they would say. It certainly gives you a flavour of a Glasgow station with the type of locomotives and DMUs that I've got here now. Um, Certainly brings that Scottish flair to the station. And I'm trying to add other elements that would reflect that. Yeah, it's a pity about that one camera. It's a nice camera, but I'm just not sure why it keeps dropping off. I can plug it out or unplug it and then reinsert it. I'll just remove that and then yeah, see there it's back up, but it's just like a still photograph. I tried updating the firmware, didn't have any effect. It's unfortunate. I'll just have to keep plugging away at it until I get it working again. And having a camera at line side really brings a little bit of reality into everything. And if Clive Cobbold is watching, I hope you enjoyed that Strathclyde Transport DMU. I was thinking about you, Clive, when I pulled that out. Hope you're doing well. Well, as the Pullman picks up new passengers, we'll let it run there for a while. And once again, I would just like to thank all of my subscribers. I'm very grateful that you've chosen to subscribe to my channel because I, I am aware of the number of excellent and outstanding model railway channels that are out there, and they all bring something unique and different to the table. Um, and that makes me grateful for you taking the time to not only watch, like, and subscribe to the channel. And for those who don't subscribe, that's okay. If you're watching, that's terrific. If you could give me a little thumbs up or even leave a comment, that would be wonderful. I try to do my best and comment on every channel that I watch, and leaving a comment is a big thing. It really helps the individual get noticed, let's say, um, and helps them with the algorithm, which, as we all know, is a big black box. So while the trains are running smoothly, I'd just like to say goodbye and thank you for dropping by here at Partickhill Station, and invite you to come back again, and we'll have something different running through the station. So for the next few minutes, we'll just watch the trains go by. Goodbye for now. Everyone stay safe and play with your trains. This is Charlie signing off. See you next time here at Partickhill Station.